Welcome back to this new inspirational video. Today I wanted to go on with a chapter called What We Will Attract from the book Creative Mind and Success. Now Ernest started this out by saying the following: we will always attract to us in our lives and conditions according to our thought. Things are but outer manifestations of inner mental concepts. Thought is not only power, it is also the form of all things. The conditions that we attract will correspond exactly to our mental pictures. It is quite necessary, then, that the successful businessman should keep his mind on thoughts of happiness, which produce cheerfulness instead of depression. He should radiate joy and should be filled with faith, hope, and expectancy. These cheerful, hopeful attitudes of mind are indispensable to the one who really wants to do things in his life. Put every negative thought out of your mind once and for all. Declare your freedom. Know that no matter what others may say, think, or do, you are a success now, and nothing can hinder you from accomplishing your good. Now, right there, nice little paragraph with enormous responsibility. Let me repeat that. Put every negative thought out of your mind once and for all. This is easier said than done, obviously. Even I can face myself thinking negative things at times throughout my day. But here's the trick. You have to become aware of when you're doing it so you realize that you have a choice to change it around. Really think about it. Most people, because they're unconsciously using the power of their minds and therefore don't know that there is a real power behind directing it, willingly and consciously, when a negative thought hits, they go along with it for perhaps way longer than they should or even have to. So then they might feel bad for hours on end or days on end until they finally relax enough so that something positive can arise from within them again. That is why we have good days and bad days. But you see, we can have more good days in general if we know that once we start to think negatively, we can change it around. It's in our power. It's our own decision that will make it happen. So that is how you want to look at it, I personally think. Because thinking that you will never have negative thoughts is kind of unrealistic. It's part of life in a way. It's that other polarity to the good side of life, the positive and negative. But become aware of when you're thinking negative about your own dreams or yourself or your life, and understand that you have a choice to also think optimistically about your life. Now, at first it might be tricky if the negative thought is very strong within you. It has a strong grasp over your emotions. But the thing still remains is that you can change it around if you become skilled enough in directing your own mind. So at first it might only work for you little by little, but eventually you reach a point that becomes easier and easier in general. That is the case for me. I might have negative moments in my mind going on for perhaps hours, I'm not gonna lie. But then I also know, hey, I gotta change this around sooner than later. But it wasn't always like that. I also used to be one of those people when I was growing up that might go along with the negative stuff for so long that I wondered, why is my life so horrible? I mean, that's kind of what's going to happen. You're unable to see the good side to your own existence. No wonder life becomes such a huge struggle if we keep going back and forth between these two polarities. So let us stop it. Let us train ourselves not to do so. So as he said, put every negative thought out of your mind once and for all. Well, even though that is a huge request to make, at least start experimenting with it. Little by little, you become better at it, and you'll find that it's going to become easier to be on the positive side of life, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, from then forward. Now, he went on to say that all the power of the universe is with you. Feel it, know it, and then act as though it were true. This mental attitude alone will draw people and things to you. Begin to blot out one by one all false beliefs, all idea that man is limited or poor or miserable. Now that's essentially what you're going to have to do for yourself. You're going to have to stop thinking you are limited, poor, or miserable. Even though you might not be wealthy, you consider yourself poor, but you have a mind that can come up with all sorts of ideas to make yourself wealthy. It's given to you by the universe, this power to do so. That should give you hope. If you really understand this power, you no longer have to see yourself as poor, even though you physically might be poor for the time being. You can outgrow that poverty by using your mind in this manner. So he went on to say that we have to use that wonderful power of will that God has given to you. Refuse to think of failure or to doubt your own power. See only what you wish to experience and look at nothing else. So in other words, Look only at the vision of fulfilled desires within your own imagination and understand that you'll grow there as you hold on to it mentally and emotionally. No matter how many times the old thought returns, destroyed by knowing that it has no power over you. Look it squarely in the face and tell it to go. It does not belong to you, and you must know and stick to it, that you are now free. Rise up in all the faith of one who knows what he is dealing with, and declare that you are one with infinite mind. Know that you cannot get away from this one mind, that wherever you may go, there right beside you, waiting to be used, is all the power there is in the whole universe. When you realize this, you will know that in union with this, the only power, you are more than all else. You are more than anything that can ever happen to you. That is the end of the chapter of what you will attract. Again, what you will attract obviously is the very thing you hold in mind. That's a beautiful promise to understand for yourself. You no longer have to doubt in it. The reason why we doubt is that we don't understand at first how a thought or imaginative picture or vision in the mind becomes a reality to begin with. But as you start experimenting in little ways in your own life, you will start to develop the experience that you need in order to trust in this process for bigger and bigger dreams. And that's what I want to help you do, achieve bigger and bigger things with your life by simply understanding your mind and then making use of it. Now let's go on to the next chapter, which is titled More About the Power of Attraction. Always remember that spirit makes things out of itself. It manifests in the visible world by becoming the thing that it wills to become. In the world of the individual, the same process takes place. It is given to man to use creative power, but with the using of this power comes the necessity of using it as is made to be used. If God makes things out of his thought before they come into manifestation, then we must use the same method. You can attract only that which you first mentally become and feel yourself to be in reality without any doubting. A steady stream of consciousness going out into creative mind will attract a steady manifestation of conditions. A fluctuating stream of consciousness will attract a corresponding manifestation or condition in your life. Now we must be consistent in our attitude of mind, never wavering. And James said, "Ask in faith, nothing doubting, for he that doubteth is like a surge of the sea driven by the wind and tossed. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord." Again, simply put, if you have the willpower, the ability to focus on your dream day in and out, that's what we preach on this channel, you will manifest that dream, no matter how long it will take. See, for example, with my channel, I have a dream at this to build it into something huge. However, I know it's going to take time from my point of view, physically speaking, but yet I stay focused and more can happen in order to manifest that dream. That is what you want to understand with your own dreams. So don't be impatient about anything. Know that you're working with a power that has your back. Now Ernest went on to say that we are all immersed in an aura of our own thinking. This aura is the direct result of all that we have ever said, thought or done. It decides what is to take place in our life. It attracts what is like itself and repels what is unlike itself. We are drawn to watch those things that we mentally embody. Most of the inner processes of thought have been unconscious, but when we understand the law, all that we have to do is to embody consciously what we wish and think of that only, and then we shall be drawn silently toward it. Again, you can confirm this from personal experiment. You gotta apply it in your life to discover it's true. I've done this for many years. Every time I set certain goals, I know I'm silently drawn toward it. I'm compelled to make stuff happen concerning that dream. Things that I might have never done before. But yet it's because I'm holding the idea, the vision in my mind, and I'm emotionally tied to that dream, which compels my body to act in certain ways to make it happen. Now we have this law in our own hands to do with it as we will. We can draw what we want only as we let go of the old order and take up the new, and this we must do to the exclusion of all else. This is no weak man's job, but an undertaking for a strong, self-reliant soul, and the end is worth the effort. The person who can hold his thought one-pointed is the one who will obtain the best results. But this does not imply the necessity of strain or anything of a strenuous nature. On the contrary, strain is just what we must avoid. But we know that there is but one power, we shall not struggle, we shall know, and in calmness we shall see only what we know must be the truth. This means a persistent, firm determination to think what we want to think, regardless of all outer evidence to the contrary. We look not to the seen but to the unseen. The king of Israel understood this when looking upon the advancing host of the enemy. He said, "We have no might against this great company, but our eyes are upon thee, upon the one power." That's the end of the chapter. What power? Well, the power of your own mind. That's the beauty of this all, is that if you can see something in your mind, you're spiritually already connected to that very thing that you want to manifest. You can see it as this. Manifestation is just a reflection of an imaginative vision. So your goals, your dreams that you want to have physically, first have to exist inside your consciousness so that they can then manifest, and they're quite literally a reflection of an inner imaginative vision. Again, if you understand this, it becomes so much easier to set any goal and just get there. Yeah, it might take you a couple years, maybe a decade, depends on the dream actually, but you will get there as long as you hold on to it. And now, an even greater thing to understand, which I like to remind people of, is that if you were to pass away before even realizing this dream physically, if it was a true dream that you had, your consciousness will find a way to manifest it anyway. Yes, that might be a little too over the top for us to understand from this current physical point of view, but you gotta believe in the eternal nature of your own consciousness, because once you do, everything becomes possible for you, and that's what we're after, to get back our own power and awareness that we have lost throughout this physical journey. Now, if you stumbled upon this video and want to see the rest of this series, be sure to check out a link provided for this playlist in the description box below. And if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing to receive inspirational videos on a regular basis. And with that being said, dear viewer, never forget that we are the dreamers.